see, Sue, I won't see. I laugh when I want to, I cry when I want to, I breathe the fish in the sea. We are the Grumbleweeds. Well, we are the Grumbleweeds.
And we interrupt this programme with an urgent message for all ships situated in the area latitude 5230 north and longitude 150 west. Start rowing, you're in the middle of Birmingham. Meanwhile, as part of its 60th anniversary celebrations, BBC One are showing one of the early Z cars. Here's a short clip.
All right, you two villains, you're nicked. Get your hands up, and anything you say will be used in evidence. Blimey, just my luck, it's David Steele and Shirley Williams.
Over now to Broadcasting House for a special message from the Director General.
Has anybody seen me teeth? He was a great baker where our dad. I remember when I was a lad, he'd start work at 3 in the morning and work till 10 at night, baking bread for all village. Sometimes he'd work weeks without a break. I remember that me and my brothers, Fred, Trevor, Robert, Frank, Richard, Robin, Rory, Brian and Jerry, Gary and Chris, Harry, Gregory, Harold and Barry, we hardly ever saw him. In fact, me dad worked so hard, he was never at home. Good job me mother took in lodgers to keep her company.
Hello, kiddies. Yes, once again, this is your old friend Uncle Rubbish saying once again, welcome once again to Tiny Tots Toy Time Tea Time.
I really hate this. This really gets right up my nose.
Now then, kiddies, what's the first thing we normally do on the programme?
Throw up.
No, we sing the Tiny Tots Toy Time Tea Time song, don't we? But today we're going to do something different.
He's going to let me rip his windpipe out.
He's only joking.
Yes, thank you, the marvellous Grumbleweeds, and of course their writers, Mike Craig and Ron MacDonald. Now, the man I'm about to introduce is one of the country's finest trumpet players, but more recently he's been trying to keep order while other people blow their own trumpets. Here he is, Humphrey Lyttelton.
Hello and welcome to I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, which is the only forgotten son of I'm Sorry I'll Read That Again and Hello Cheeky. It's also the antidote to panel games. I thought I'd better explain that for the benefit of Radio 2 listeners. And we're doing it tonight on Radio 2 for the benefit of Radio 4 listeners. My role in this program is chairman, but apart from putting out the chairs, I also introduce the teams who are Tim Brooke-Taylor and Willie Rushton. And Graeme Garden and Barry Crine. Well, as our regulars know, all I'm Sorry programs end with balls. Balls at which the teams announce their late arrivals. And this is the point when I give them advance notice that tonight's ball is the BBC Radio Ball. All right, teams? BBC Radio Ball. As we're celebrating 60 years of the Beeb, it seemed to me suitably fatuous that each panel member should start with 60 marks, and I'll deduct them for lack of humour, lack of taste, lack of consideration for the chairman, and not wearing a tie. Puts Graeme and Barry in the lead for a start. Now, here's the first one. Someone whom I'm about to nominate will start with some good news, and the next person will give us the corresponding bad news, and then the next person will give us the good news, somebody else will give the bad news, and then another person will give us... And it goes on like that until I press the bell, which is that. And we'll start with you, Graeme Garden.
Good news is that BBC Radio is 60 years old today.
Bad news
It died 30 years ago, but nobody noticed.
Good news. My word, there are some voices from the past here tonight.
Bad news. The word past is a misprint. Good news. Percy Edwards is doing an impersonation of an Alsatian.
The bad news is all over Archie Andrews. Good news, Archie is insured against rising damp.
Bad news, Peter isn't.
Further good news from that front. Percy's doing an impersonation now of a herd of cows.
And the bad news is Frank Muir's going into it. Good news, Percy's going into the Archers.
Bad news as Eddie Grundy's back legs.
Good news. I've just heard Walter Gabriel's coming out of the closet. Oh, hello, Sheila.
The bad news is Frank Muir's going into it.
And with everything poised now, there's all to play for. And this is the point where I take my Mogadon tablet so that I can sleep through your announcements of the late arrivals at the BBC radio ball.
From the golden days of silent radio, here comes Alexandra Palace, a lovely girl who has just laid Lord Reith.
All the way from Scotland, will you welcome Mr. and Mrs. Ding, with their diminutive son, Wee Ken Ding.
And will you welcome, please, Mr. and Mrs. Havlub, and their son, Theseus Havlub.
Welcome some guests on this anniversary from Radio Sweden.
Oh, welcome.
Mr. and Mrs. Daken and their son, Bjorn Daken, and his friend, Randy Horn.
Also from Sweden, Mr. and Mrs. Knight of the Proms and their son, Lars.
The Britton family and their misprint child, Brian of Britain.
From India, Mr. and Mrs. Cat Bedtime and their son, Abu Cat Bedtime.
Will you welcome, please, Mr. and Mrs. Favourite, and their agricultural son who swings both ways, two-way farmer Lee Favourite.
That's all we've got time for at the moment, not a moment too soon. I'd like to thank Tim Brooke-Taylor, Willie Rushton, Graeme Garden and Barry Cryer.
We'd very, very, very much like to thank you, Hump. Unfortunately, we can't, as you haven't done anything yet.
Time you did some work and played with your trumpet.
Yeah. That's another misprint. And Frank Muir will be going into it.
Good news in the Dennis Lotis position.
Ladies and gentlemen, quite seriously, would you now please stand up if you remember BBC's Trad Tavern? Come think of it, if you remember BBC's Strand Tavern, you can't stand up.
A warm welcome then, please, to those stars of Jazz Club and Jazz Score, Chris Barber, Johnny Barnes and Humphrey Lyttelton.
Thank you very much, Hump, Chris and Johnny. There they go, the Wilson, Keppel and Betty of Dixieland. Ladies and gentlemen, we have great pleasure now in bringing before you a few of my famous radio impressions.
Look who's here. It's old Mr. Spud, the comical compare. Fancy meeting you.
No, madam, I'm Roy Hudd. Roy Hudd.
Where's Emu, then? That flaming flamingo. Kicks everyone to death. If you think I'm cleaning up after him as well as Archie Andrews, we've got another thought coming.
No. I'm Roy Hudd, and I'm afraid I've realised who you are. You're Mrs. Purvis, the BBC studio cleaner. But I thought you just defected.
Pardon? I thought that was you.
No. I know you are, Mrs. Purvis, and dare I ask, the unbelievable Nola isn't with you, is she?
Of course she is, Boise. I knew you couldn't live without Noel.
You want to bet?
I'll bring her on for you, sir. I'll keep her in the shed. Nola! Come on out here to Mummy, darling. Ah, look. There she comes. She's just one long U-turn in the great motorway of life. If some fella don't come up a fast lane soon, a big end will explode.
Yeah, well, don't let her do it here, please.
Ah, look at her in all her glory, sir. Don't she remind you of Bo Derek?
Bo Bridges, yeah.
See, Nolly? He's saying nice things to you already. What's your tender message you got in reply?
Hello, Popeye. Why don't you stuff a tin of spinach in your gob and give yourself green biceps?
Nola, this is Mr. Roy, the well-known musical stud.
Oh? Then why don't he change his name to Victor Manure and lose himself in his work?
Nola, I'm trying to get old Roy to put a ring on your third finger, so stop giving him the first two instead. How can you speak to him like that?
Easy, Mum. I just move my lips up and down and a funny noise comes out the back of my throat.
Look, Nowley, this is a celebration of 60 glorious years, don't forget. So think of something special to say.
Here, you long streak of spaghetti. Why don't you poke your nose in your ear hole and blow your brains out?
There you are, sir. You're just made for one another. She likes a bit of rough trade. I ask you, where could you find the equals of my Nolly? Where?
In any one of my terrifying nightmares. Now, look, Mrs. Purvis, I refuse to marry Nola, and that is definite. I would still refuse to marry Nola if she were the last woman on earth. And finally, I'd rather kill myself than marry Nola.
Taking the easy way out.
I am not wasting my time with Mr. Cleverdick here, Mum. You have had it, Huddy. I wouldn't marry a man who's so common that even the tongues in his shoes go...
Nowley, what have you said? Poor lobby lad. How can you be feeling?
Grateful. Now, look, Mrs. Purvis, it's very kind of you to try and marry me to Nola, but I really must get on with the show now.
Nowley, how about reciting one of your love poems to get him going?
Don't bother, I'm going now, thank you very much.
You stay right here, Spud. Unless you want my big daddy stranglehold, where it really brings tears to your eyes. Carry on, Nola. Lyrics are love. Come on, shoot.
Oh, all right, Mum. Here goes.
Well, thank you, Nola. That was lovely. And now
I hadn't started yet, you owl-faced beanpole. I was just revving up.
She don't mean to be rude. You want to smell my fittings? Go on, Nolly. Do the second verse. That'll pull it all.
I don't want it off, Mum. All right. Here goes. Chinky Chinaman, feeling very glum. Just you wait, oh Huddy, for a big smack bum.
Bum. Nolly, what have we done? You silly custard. Get off. I'll never get you spliced
I'm
now.
sorry, Mum, but I don't fancy him. He's too thin.
Get
So
off.
thin he wouldn't even...
thank you, Nolly and her mum, of course, Pat Coombs and Irene Handl. And the man who put the words into their mouths, Dabba Davis. Now we come to Radio 4's Weekending, a satirical look at the week's news.
Hello. Good evening. Good evening. Hang on. Just a minute.
Just a minute, sir. Aren't you a top BBC executive?
Yes, that's right.
Yes, I thought I saw you in the bar.
Yes. Now, look here, I heard you mention start the week.
No, weekending, sir.
Yes, that's it, chap. Well, it reminded me, the old brain snapped into action, you know, and I thought to myself, there's a very important question I wanted to ask him about.
Weekending?
Yes. What is it?
So, look, excuse him, Roy. In his job, he tends to lose touch with what's on the air.
What is he?
Head of Programme Planning.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Roy. Thank you very much. Look, we've got to get on with it, haven't we? Come along.
Yes. Now, look, just a minute. Look at what the hell is Weekending, anyway?
Well, it's a satirical programme about the news in which the BBC proves how daring it is by making incisive comments about public figures.
Which they then cut out before it's broadcast. And now, here is the news for the next 60 years. 1984. After Mrs. Thatcher wins the general election, George Orwell's book is reissued as the Tory Party manifesto.
1990. The national executive of the militant tendency vote to expel the Labour Party.
1996. Lord Lucan is found hiding in the BBC. Scotland Yard say he apparently managed to avoid discovery for 20 years by presenting an open university programme.
2000. The BBC appoint Terry Wogan as the new Director General in a last desperate bid to get him off the air.
2005. The Post Office resume mail collections on Sunday, but cancel them for the rest of the week.
2010. British Leyland finally goes bankrupt after their latest sales gimmick offers insurance against breakdowns.
2014. A spokesman for West Yorkshire Police discounts rumours being spread that Leeds United fans now have nuclear capability.
2019. Holidaymakers returning from the first package trips to the moon complain of half-finished hotels and a 20-minute walk to the beach. And that is the end of the next 60 years' news. There you go.
unique ending in which you heard the voices of David Jason, David Tate, Bill Wallis and Sheila Steafel. And the script was written by Bob Sinfield and James Hendry, with newslines from Peter Hickey. Well, it's time now to let Harry Rabinowitz and the 27 gentlemen of the orchestra and 6 members of the Charles Young Singers have their say with a tribute to some of the great radio comedy shows over the past 60 years. Can you name that tune in one? Harry Rabinowitz Orchestra and the Charles Young Singers. During the 60s, the only thing that got me out of the pub on a Sunday afternoon before closing time was the prospect of hearing about the thrills and spills of the mighty bacon slicer, or to meet such people as Irish TV personality Seamus Android, King of the Dirty Raincoats, J. Peasmole Gruntfuttock, and fiendish Oriental mastermind Chu-En Ginsberg. All characters invented by Barry Took and Marty Feldman in that marvellous programme, Round the Horn. Well, tonight we're delighted to have one of the writers with us. Unfortunately, the beautiful flaxen-haired, doe-eyed half of the partnership is in Hollywood, so we've got the cancelled export order. Tall, fat, grey-haired, bespectacled Barry Took.
Hello. 1964 was quite a year. At Margate, Southend and other resorts, beloved of the retired, mods fought rockers. In Cyprus, Greeks fought Turks, Harold Wilson became Prime Minister and the Windmill Theatre closed. The Sun newspaper was first published and BBC Two went on the air for the first time. There were riots in Panama and an outbreak of typhoid in Aberdeen. Oh, and folk singer Rambling Sid Rumpo made his debut.
Well, hello, my dear. Very nice indeed to be here. Well, dang me down, Dilly, and haul away my nadgers out.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Do it before the traffic warden slaps a ticket on them. Glad to see that you're still going strong, Rambling Sid.
Oh, yes, my dearie, I've been nurking my splod and bending my grussets over hill and dale as the spirit moves me. For I must go where the wild goose goes.
So I've been told. Now, what are you going to sing for us this evening?
'Tis a tender and furtive ditty, or madrigal, that goes after this fashion, trippingly, but with a hint of mothballs.
Tiptoes off so as not to wake the audience.
That's right.
Joe, he was a young cord wangler, monging greebles did he go, and he loved a bogler's daughter by the name of Chiswick Flo. Vain she was, and like a grusset, and her gander parts were fine, but she sneered at his cord wangle as it hung upon the line. So he stole a woggler's moolie, or to make a wedding ring. But the Bow Street runners caught him, and the judge said, you will swing. Oh, they tied him by the postern, nailed his moolie to the fence, or to warn all young cord wanglers that it was a grave offence. There's a moral to this story, though your cord wangle be poor, keep your hands off others' moolies, for it is against the law.
Pure as the driven snow. Now, it is fair to say that two characters dominated Round the Horn, and even today their adventures are intriguing the inhabitants of Fiji and puzzling the life out of people in Japan. The trouble, I've forgotten which one is which.
Hello. I'm Julian, and this is my friend Sandy.
Oh, how bonus. How bonus to bother your jolly old eve.
What two fine homies you are now.
Say that again if you like.
I doubt if I could and stay in one piece. However, let me establish that you are Julian and your friend is Sandy.
That's right, yes. Or, to use our special ring names, Man Mountain Jewel and Sky High Sand. That's our ring name.
Ring name?
Yes, we're into wrestling now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Could you fill me in?
It'd be a pleasure, Ducky. Yeah. Just stroll down to our gym anytime.
Of course, apart from wrestling ourselves, we are entrepreneurs.
Yeah, that's right. That's actual French. Taste your extra French. Oh, your merci blow through. Oh, got it all. Got it all in the EEC. Common market. Common EEC.
Oh, I thought that was eek.
Yeah, EEC. Oh, it's bonus. Oh, bonus, Vardy, Dolly, old eek. Yes, it's clever of you, that. Well, Jewel and me, you see, have handled all the top grapplers. We've handled them all, haven't we?
Oh, yes.
We've handled them all at one time or another. Take the hooded terror.
Yes, he did.
Yes, I did. Yes, got him on our books. He's one of ours. And the Iron Monk. The Iron Monk. He's one of ours too.
Filthy habit.
Yes. And then there's your Borneo Maniac. Borneo Maniac. Oh, comes on as a gorilla.
Oh, she's too much. She is.
Her?
I thought everyone knew, actually. Alice Makepeace, her name is. She used to wrestle in mud, and we made the mistake, would you believe, of signing her up before they scraped her off.
Oh, was our eeks red when it turned out to be a balloon?
Yes, that counts for her wearing a gorilla skin.
That's not a skin. That's natural, that is.
Yes, oh yes. But tell me, gentlemen, and I use the term loosely, apart from handling other wrestlers,
Yes.
do you actually wrestle yourselves?
Not actually ourselves, Nana. Each other. Might have seen us last Saturday afternoon on the telly.
Yes, I believe I did.
Well, what did you think of our performance? Go on, you can be frank. Be as brutal as you like. We can take it. Look at his face. Look at his face.
What?
You think it lacked, don't you? Go on. You wasn't besotted.
Well,
We didn't come across, did we?
Go on.
no.
Oh. You see, Jewel, what did I tell you? It's that television director. He's got no idea. He couldn't shoot a cross buttock to save his life.
And his camera angle's all to pop.
Oh, yes.
Kept dollying in on my wrong side.
Wrong side of you, that's true.
You see, mister, from the wrong angle, I look quite plain.
Oh, no.
I do.
No, you don't.
I do.
Oh, no.
The first one to admit it.
Oh, no. No, I wouldn't say plain.
My knees in a close-up look, well, dead naff.
Do they?
I mean, let's face it, they're wrinkled.
Oh.
They are.
Do you think?
Yes, I've tried everything. I've tried the creams, the astringent lotion. I've had them lifted twice. No doing nothing with these knees of mine. I think wrinkled knees are so ugly in a wrestler, don't you?
Surely appearances aren't that important.
Oh, well, look, you must be joking, Ducky. That's what the women come to see.
Yes.
They come to admire it, too. Grey, butch, hairy men battling it out. That's why I cover myself. I cover myself all over in oil. Ooh, I mean... really, you know... Oh, it enhances the pectorals.
Well, I wish you wouldn't do it.
Oh, it's lovely.
Keep on slipping out of my hammerlock.
They say that a lot of wrestling is phony. Is that true?
No! Last week, for instance, me and Jewel had a real grudge fight. Oh, we both got our wilds up in the third.
Well, you started it. Oh. Yes, you did. Hogging the close-ups like that.
Maybe, Ducky, but that was no excuse for what you did. It was brutal. It was bestial what he done.
What happened?
He grabbed me by the wrist, he pinned me down, and then he broke it.
Your wrist?
No, Ducky, me fingernail.
And Jules and Sandy can still be found at their rustic weekend cottage next to Waterloo Station. Well, tonight we've had lots of comedy, but music has always played a big part in light entertainment, and the BBC Variety Department, as it used to be called, featured all the great bands over the years. Henry Hall, Sidney Lipton, Ambrose, Roy Fox, Cyril Stapleton, the Squadronaires, and, of course, Ted Heath. And with us right now is the unmistakable voice of the Heath Band, Mr. Dennis Lotis.
Maybe I'm right, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm weak, and maybe I'm strong. But nevertheless, I'm in love with you. Maybe I'll win, and maybe I'll lose. Maybe I'm in the cry and the blues. But nevertheless, I'm in love with you. Somehow I know at a glance the terrible chances I'm taking. Fine at the start, then left with a heart that is breaking. Maybe I live a life of regret. Maybe I'll give much more than I get, but nevertheless I'm in love with you. I'm in the mood for love, simply because you're near me. Funny, but when you're near me, I'm in the mood for love. Heaven is in your eyes, bright as the stars were under. Oh, is it any wonder I'm in the mood for love? Why stop to think of whether this little dream might fade? We put our hearts together. Now we are one. I'm not afraid if there's a cloud above. If it should rain, well, let it. But for tonight, forget it. I'm in the mood for love. It's great after being out late. I won't get my baby back home. I'm in a meadow and farm, walking my baby back home. We go along harmonizing a song, or I'm reciting a poem. The hours go by and give me the eye, walking my baby back home. We stop for a while, she gives me a smile, snuggles her head to my chest. We started to bed, and that's when I get her powder all over my face. After I kind of straighten my tie, she has to borrow my comb. One kiss, then I continue again, just to walk in my baby. I don't mean maybe, walk in my baby back home.
Only one person who could possibly follow that, but unfortunately he couldn't make it. However, we have found a person vaguely connected with radio, folks. I'm told he has done the odd broadcast. In fact, very odd. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only, thank God, Frankie Howard!
Now, ladies and gentlemen, now that we're reaching the end of this memorial service... Oh, stay thy mirth. I got this phone call, and I have never been so insulted since I was turned down for the main part in The Stud. I picked up the phone, I accepted the charge, and precisely, there's one there. This voice came through on the other end. BBC here. BBC here. I thought, hello, they've had the phone reconnected. And it was a shock. And I recognized, ladies and gentlemen, I recognized that voice immediately. It was, of course, the thing. Odd Boy. That's, the producer. He said, you're here to pay a tribute to the BBC, and you've got 9 minutes. Oh, I said, have I 9 minutes? I said, in that case, what do I do for the other 8.5? No, I mustn't be cruel, ladies and gentlemen, because the BBC have been very good to me. Now, they've been very good to me, I must say, because they haven't employed me for 10 years. It's rather subtle, that, actually. But I will say this about them. They're very fair. Very fair indeed. They're mean to everyone. Anyway, we go. Nay, thrice nay. To cut a long story short, I thought I'd do tonight a bit of what I'm famous for. And please, nothing was proved. It didn't stand up in court. Now, will this never end? Rehearsing since 10, and look. Ladies and gentlemen, because you've been such a lovely audience, and so many of you have made an effort to stay awake, I'm going to reward you with a song. Now, hey? No, don't mock poor Francis. You're mocking Francis. No, I don't sing normally. I'll rephrase that. I don't... Please. I do some things normally. I mean, I don't normally sing. But the fire people want the building cleared quickly. Now, would you like to raise the curtain, please, the iron curtain? Now, that... Oh, yeah. No. Gone with the wind. Orchestra have departed. No. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for this song, this performance of this song tonight, I'm going to be accompanied at the pianoforte by Mr. Ronnie Price here. Are you ready, maestro? See, this is typical, isn't it, the BBC? No, don't clap. Don't clap, for God's sake, I want money. Now, the thing is... Ronnie Price, all right, maestro? Let's see, his face lights up when I call him maestro. He lives in a world of his own, poor little devil. Never mind. No, this is marvellous, isn't it? There's all this stage. I put the piano right at the back. The piano's right at the back of the orchestra. Can you see it? So we can't hear each other. We're not near each other. Typical BBC. Do you know the three producers? It's true. There's 3 producers on this show. 3. That's why it's 3 times the shambles it usually is. Now this song is about a life fraught with trials and tribulations, ladies and gentlemen. Me. There were times, that's right, get your R's out. Ladies and gentlemen, there were times when I had to grovel for a tiny scrap of bread. I've scrimped. Yes, I've scrimped. Scrimped, scramped and scrumped. Anybody else here had to do that? You have? Mush, you have? The lady, what? No, we're talking about 2 different things. I'm talking about destitution. No. Let me ask you this, ladies and gentlemen, how many of you have stooped so low you looked your end in the face? You see a low-down bum. Now, I have. Maestro! Let's commence. And now, the end is near. Yes, the end is near. Oh, wait a minute. There's a woman down here on her knees. She's praying. No. This is not the end of the world, dear. It's the end of the show. Beg your pardon, she dropped her false teeth. I'm so sorry, love. Put them in the right way or you'll bite yourself. And so I face the final curtain, my friends. I'll say it clear. I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. Shall we pause for a while the maestro catches up? I fear his pills are wearing off. I lived a life that's full. I've travelled each and every highway. Oh, much more than this. My way. Yes, I did it my way. I did it alone, without any help from anyone. Don't mind, please. At school I was victimized. That's true. Oh, the teacher hated me. I used to make this stand in the corner. It happened so often. The people used to hang their coats on me. They hang their coats on me. I didn't mind that so much. It's where they stuck their umbrellas that worry me because... and sometimes they opened them, and... That could put a spring in your step, I can tell you. I was persecuted, rejected outright. Oh, there's a woman here crying around. I'm only acting, love. I'm only acting, dear. See, I'm too real. That's the trouble. I'm too convincing. I should have taken it up. To think I did all that. And may I say, not in a shy way. Yes, I was a shy boy, very shy. But I overcame the shyness at the end. I became what you call dominant. Dominant. You know this, I'll tell you this. You may scoff, but once I had hundreds of women queuing up to reach me. But one girl was mad about me, one girl was mad. She was senseless, she was. I even asked her father for a hand. All I got was 2 fingers. So we eloped. We eloped. And on our first night, she went wild. You understand what that means, to go wild on your first night? She asked me to cover her in pink blanche. And I make love, passionate love to her, dressed as an archbishop, on roller skates. And did I do it? Did I do it? What? Oh, no! Oh, no, not me. I did it my way. Yes, I did it my way.
Well, I'm afraid that brings us to the end of this very special evening. It only remains for me to thank all the writers for their contributions over the years, the technicians, the producers, and very important, the audiences. And looking round, I think some of the originals are here tonight. We'll all be back the same time, same spot on the dial, 60 years from now. Goodbye!
That was the light entertainment show from the Adelphi Theatre, London. Taking part were Sweet Substitute, Charlie Chester, Peter Goodright, Frank Pure, Dennis Norden, Richard Murdoch, Kenneth Connor, Leslie Phillips, Molly Weir, Percy Edwards, the Heebie-Jeebies, Peter Brough and Archie Andrews, Simon Jones and Marvin, June Whitfield, Dick Bentley, Arthur English, Alison Stedman, Chris Emmett, the Grumbleweeds, Barry Cryer, William Rushton, Graham Garden, Tim Brooke-Taylor, Humphrey Lyttelton, Chris Barber, Johnny Barnes, Pat Coombs, Irene Handl, David Jason, David Tate, Bill Wallis, Sheila Steafel, Barry Took, Kenneth Williams, Hugh Paddick, Dennis Lotis, Frankie Howard, and the whole show was introduced by Roy Hudd. The music was provided by Harry Rabinowitz and his orchestra and the Charles Young Singers. Musical arrangements by Bert Rhodes. Special material by Tony Hare and Peter Hickey, and produced by Martin Fisher, Jonathan James Moore, and Richard Wilcox.
And the comedy continues on Radio 2 at least tomorrow night with another in the series, The Name's the Game. And also tomorrow a few changes to our regular programmes to continue the celebration of 60 BBC years. Workers' Playtime makes a guest appearance at 12:30 with Les Dawson, Tom Menard and Alan Randall. And at 3:30, half an hour of music while you work. Well, that's all tomorrow. Next tonight, after the news, Europe 82.